this is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome into our very first live show of 2026. On behalf of everybody here at BTT Studios and Coaching Company and Coaching Bro, I am the coach. I navigate this ship. We want to wish everybody out there a very happy new year. Hopefully it was safe. You're just kind of rolling out of bed. If you're in the East, it's 10 a.m. Eastern time. Out West, you're just like, oh, my goodness, what did I do last night? But you don't even have to get out of bed for the next 2 hours. We dominate the Stadium Network Airways, Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV. It's Coaching Company right now. We're talking everything best bets. We're talking everything college football playoff and a little bit of NBA. But then at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we will be live. That's right, live with the Coach and Bro Show, the fastest growing remote pro wrestling show in the universe. Me and my man Vince Russo, the creative director and brains behind JCW Wrestling right now. Today, we got a lot of topics. Today. Normally, we'll be back Monday for Off the Ropes on SiriusXM Channel 156, my daily wrestling show on that platform. The bottom line is this. If you're new, if you're just trying us out, if you just found us, this is all you need to do. Just subscribe to our YouTube pages. We have 2 of them. Turn on your notifications. And every single time we start a show, you will be notified. Because we have a ton of fun, educate, we entertain, we laugh, we learn. But I don't do it by myself. So, they made it over early today for the first day of 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Yes, it's time. Let's beat the books. Oh, and look at this motley crew on a Thursday. Where do we start? Well, let's go to the man all the way at the end. We're going to do a little bit of a New Year's sports resolutions to start the show. And my man live from Memphis, Tennessee, DG. Good morning. Happy New Year. What do you got for me this morning? Oh, no, not now, not here, not. You want to try it again? Oh, my goodness. What a way. Let's come over to – you got to fix it. We got to come over to my numbers guy for a reason. Say good morning, I hope, to Rafael Esparza. What is your New Year's resolution, Rafael?
Good morning, Coach. Happy New Year to everybody. My New Year's resolution is pretty much the same thing every year. I try to figure out new ways that people can bet, more research, different types of research, something that makes you scratch your head like, how did this guy think of this? That is always my New Year's resolution. It's just sports research all day long.
Would we say maybe, I don't know, in this whole crazy world of sports betting, maybe finding partners that look into the future? Would that be something we could do?
That is something I always look at. There's different kinds of companies that I can help out.
Very, very interesting. All right, finally, this man has really become such a vital part of what we're doing here at BTT Studios, really stepping up not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera as well. Let's say good morning to our guy, Mikey P. Good morning. Happy New Year, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Happy New Year, everyone. And, Coach, it's just simple for me. I know you always talk about my passion as a fan of teams. Yep. I'm just going to be positive with that passion. If the Bears lose, if they get bounced in the playoffs, if the Celtics don't have Jason Tatum, it's fine. Just enjoy the moment, enjoy the game. That's what I want to do this year.
Oh, you're so soft with a capital S.
By the way, I'll be crying on Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt. Big one, by the way. All right, let's see if this man's got it figured out. Live from Memphis, Tennessee. DG?
I hope, Coach. We're good. All right.
We're good.
Well, good morning and Happy New Year to everybody. Honestly, I'm looking at being a fan. Took my kids, my wife, we all joined in on watching the 76ers against the Grizzlies the other night. It was magical. Being a fan, I missed that. So that's what I'm going to do this next year.
And that's what we're going to do right here at the brand. It is fan first, and we're still going to do a lot of sports betting. There's no doubt about it. But we're going to lean more into the sports side of things because we love to discuss. We have really smart minds between all of us, so we're going to be growing, and we'll be growing in the very near future. All right, gentlemen. We've got college football playoffs to get into discussion-wise, but I want to talk about best bets, and I want to get into it right here and right now. So I have one very simple question. Damn, son. Damn, DG.
He shook the camera
Clearly.
doing that.
Well, I guess so. All right, Mikey P, you want all the smoke. Best bets. Start us off. Go.
I want all the smoke, and I want to be a fan. I want to be a fan of the Texas Tech Red Raiders today. I got them plus 2.5 against Oregon. I believe in David Bailey. I think I believe in Joe Hendry as well. I really like this Red Raiders defense. This is going to be a shootout, in my opinion, for the Red Raiders more than it will be for Oregon. So give me Texas Tech plus 2.5 and the Boston Celtics team total 118.5. They're playing the Sacramento Kings. Go look at the Kings' last 10 games. They're just awful.
They're atrocious. They are so bad. They went to LA, and I think combined between the Lakers and the Clippers, they lost by 60 something. Like absolutely embarrassing. Just embarrassing. All right, Mikey, great job. DG, my guy, you've kind of become my first quarter whisperer. What do we got today?
The numbers have been looking good on the model for sure. So let's go to 76ers. The first quarter team total over the 29.5. It's at minus 110. They're top 5 in the first quarter at this point, 31 points per game. The reason is, yes, it's Tyrese Maxey. He plays almost the entire quarter. Because of that, we're going to ride Tyrese Maxey to 30-plus points here at minus 110. And then my favorite basketball team in college, it's UCSD. It's the last game of the night, minus 8.5. We're going to get that at minus 110. They're 8-3 against the spread. Then they're playing Cal Poly on the road. Who cares? Let's go ahead and cover us 8.5 points tonight.
All of those schools, the UCSDs, the Fullertons, they're all within like a 25-mile radius of where I live. And it's crazy. You could have a college game to go to at any point. And then there's also a point guard who signed with KU, my favorite team. His dad coaches the high school team where my kids go to school. So it's great. All kinds of tons of great basketball where I'm at. So I love that UCSD. All right, I'm going to go next because I'm even scared to try this. I am even scared to try this morning, but we're going to do it because when I look at your first quarter play, DG, then I look at my first best bet, and I become let's just call it what it is, the best NBA capper in the world. But I love the full game, which means that you and I. Oh, don't take the 4-shot away, producer man. I need to make sure everybody does it. We have between me and DG a little. Say it with me.
Synergy.
Wow. That might be, the worst one we've ever done in 2026. All right, so my best bets are these. I'm going to go Sixers Mavs over 231.5. You heard DG talk about going to the game the other night. In regulation, it was 128. The Sixers were on the road. Defense is optional. They don't play a lot anyway. And Dallas, all of a sudden, with Cooper Flagg leading the way, with or without Anthony Davis, I don't care. They have become an over team. So you put the Sixers, the Mavs together over 231.5. I would play this all the way up to 233 or 234. Then, and we'll discuss this game in about 35 minutes. The Jazz, not only are they an over team, they are an over 250 team. Almost every single game has gone into the 250s. All of a sudden, the Clippers, they are playing the best basketball of anybody in the entire NBA. Kawhi Leonard scoring like a beast. So you're going to give me 233.5. I'm going to jump all over that. Both games at minus 108. Rafael, my guy, bring it home.
For DGs at UC San Diego, grab it now. It will be 10 because it's the last game and they're just a covering machine. And Cal Poly almost lost to Idaho their last game. So grab that number right now. But give me Bama team total over in the bowl game tonight against Indiana. I'll take the over 19.5 for Bama. The rain should stop late this afternoon, so I don't think we're going to see rain during the game. Alabama, they've hit this number 14 times in this season alone. I think they're going to score against Indiana's defense. It's going to be very interesting. I think Bama wins this game. And then we're going to the NBA hardwood. Give me the Clippers team total over 123.5. Why? They're playing the Utah Jazz. That is why, who are giving up 130 points per game in their last 10 games. Clippers, one of the hottest teams. They easily hit this number.
Did you guys hear the story that if you have a ticket at a Clippers game below a certain level, Mikey, what's the story on that? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so they actually on Ticketmaster, they give you like a purchase warning that if you show up and the other opposing teams gear, you're not allowed to sit there. And if you end up sitting there, they will hand you a note. They will make you leave that section and say, like, this is Clippers country. You're not welcome here with that gear. And you have to leave. It's so wild.
Can you imagine somebody showing up tonight in a Jazz uniform and standing on business? No, hell no. No, this thing means the world to me. What are we doing? What are we doing? DG, do they do something like that in Memphis?
Unfortunately, no, but I wish that was a part of what we did. But that has to be the wall, right? Within the Clippers, it has to be where that wall is. There's no other way you would do that. But yes, if it was the wall, I get it, because that is the only thing you got there in La La Land.
They do. I will give them this. I will give them this. They're trying to make the experience an experience. And when they built that new stadium, there's all kinds of tech things in there, and it makes sense because Ballmer is a Microsoft guy. So, but to make fans dress a certain way, I feel like is a little bit out of bounds. One other big topic that I kind of stumbled onto today. Did you guys see Sean Payton talking about New Year's? And last night I tried to make it to midnight. I swear to God, I got to about 10:45. I'm in Central Time Zone, just like you, DG, the Midwest, and I thought to myself, man, New Year's means nothing to me. He didn't even know, Raphael, that it was New Year's Eve yesterday. That shows how dialed in my guy Sean Payton is.
He's been doing that for years. I mean, when he was here with the Saints, he didn't know half the stuff. He didn't know about Mardi Gras. He didn't know about New Year's. So it did not shock me, because during football season, he is just 100% football. Nothing means. I'm sure he probably missed Christmas.
Well, he's a curmudgeon. You know, he's my least favorite coach in all of sports. And, you know, whether you got the little squirrel, chipmunk cheek. But they are still playing for the number 1 seed this week. But somehow the Broncos continue to stumble Mikey to the finish line. And we're not going to do a lot of NFL today. But starting tomorrow, we've got so many games for the next 4 days. Between college football, between the NFL, gigantic games that we have to break down.
Yeah, it's a football fan like myself, favorite time of the year, because we're right before the playoffs. We're going to see some players really try hard for a contract next season, and we're going to see some schools who refuse to lay down no matter what the rankings or college football playoff system says.
And I'm really starting to hope that now that a lot of these coaches, DG, the Dan Lannings, the John Calipari's, are really starting to speak out on this nonsense, whether it's the portal, whether it's NIL money, whether it's pro players coming back to play college basketball. I'm hoping that this offseason that some changes will be made.
There has to be a lot of changes made, because if you look at how this is all going, you're talking about guys now coming back that were professionals. Now they're coming back getting paid to go to college because they have years left. There has to be a change in all of this. I know we're going to get into this just in a few minutes, but I love what Dan Lanning is talking about making January 1st the national championship game, which moves everything up, put every game at your school's site. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Are you kidding me right now? If you had all these games that were home games and they all played throughout the month of December, all of a sudden this month that we kind of stumble through, that we're like, where are the games? Then you got Army-Navy played on December 15th. That's nonsense. Move that back to November. There's a lot of what seems like very, very easy changes that are going to be made. Now, we're going to get into all of the other 3 playoff games coming up. We're also going to look back on a dominant physical performance last night by the U. And somebody needs to check on Michael Irvin today. That's all I can say about that. So coming up next, will Lane Kiffin actually show up this time? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The rumors are out there that he could be in Atlanta today for Ole Miss and Georgia. Or I guess that's the not in Atlanta. It's in the Superdome in Raphael's backyard. We discuss all of that coming up next. Thank you guys so much for spending January 1st with us. Coaching Company until 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Coach and Bro until noon Eastern Time. 2 hours of domination of BTT Studios right here on the Stadium Network. All right, boys, we have seen some games this year that have been absolute jokes when it comes to the bowl games. But, DG, let me start with you. A game that was not taken as a joke was Michigan and Texas yesterday. And it was basically the Arch Manning show, capped off by a 60-yard touchdown run to give them a double-digit lead. And they finished that game off. So now Texas, I think they're going to go into next year as the preseason number one. He'll be the preseason Heisman Trophy favorite. But that's what we had this year as well, did we not?
We did. It's a repeat of 2025. What are we doing at this point? I love Arch Manning. I love what he's doing and honestly what he's saying. That Texas team played really well. I'm curious if they can get the right pieces back, they should be ranked number one, and they're going to be a team to beat next year.
Mikey, he goes against the grain on every single step of the way. And I wish more players could look at him, take the $6 million he makes off the table. This guy has done everything the right way as a college football quarterback to progress and get better.
And the number one thing I love about Arch Manning, besides the 376 yards of total offense we saw and 4 touchdowns, you never hear Arch Manning say "I." You never say "here transfer portal." You never hear. It's all about team. He could have said, "I needed this performance for myself going into next year." No, we needed this. I love Arch Manning's mindset.
And Raphael, he is the nonsense of sitting out, the nonsense of going to the portal and not playing, that will change. There's no doubt about it. But how many players this year sat at home going, man, I'm an idiot, after they made the decision to go make an extra 20 grand at a different school?
Some of those big players in the portal want to come to Texas because what they watched yesterday with what Texas produced on the field, I think that was probably an audition. So them forget some really good defensive guys and probably boosted their running game. So hats off to Texas. They looked really, really good yesterday.
They really did, and you wonder if if it was going to be an audition for Mr. Underwood to leave Michigan with Kyle Whittingham in one of the skyboxes and go to LSU. Is that going to be a landing spot and more NIL money for the former number one recruit at Michigan? All right, it is now time to talk everything college football playoff. We're getting into 2 games last night and the one tonight that has everybody talking. We're back live in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. I am the coach. This is Coaching Company. 2 hours of domination on the Stadium Network today. Happy New Year to everybody if you're just joining us right now. Now, last night, it kind of cemented that all of the keyboard warriors that are out there really don't know what they're talking about. Because Miami was a team that got in when Notre Dame was out. Miami was a team that didn't belong. Miami, all of these things until they went out last night and physically dominated Ohio State. The Buckeyes lose their last 2 games of the season to Indiana in the Big Ten Championship, and they just did not look ready at all against Miami. Let's bring my guys back in, and we'll discuss that game first because they play the winner, DG, of tonight's Ole Miss Georgia game, 8 o'clock Eastern at the Superdome there in the Big Easy. But let's talk about this game first and foremost. Miami showed against Texas A&M. And last night that their defense is legit. It's for real. And they are a team that if I'm Ole Miss or Georgia, I do not want to play.
Yeah, we all discounted what the ACC did, right, this entire season. But now we see that maybe the ACC didn't suck completely. And we have Miami that was a decent team. They did what Indiana did to Ohio State. And they just put it on them, and they controlled the ball, controlled the line of scrimmage, and just ran it down their throats all night long. And it was a great showing for Miami for sure.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of the ACC, Duke scored 42 against Arizona State yesterday. Mikey, let me come over to you because normally we don't talk about defenses winning games, especially in college. But the way Miami played against A&M, where A&M didn't even score a touchdown till late in that game. And then last night, I thought that pick 6 was one of the best anticipation plays I've seen all season. And that really changed the game. It was 7-0 at that time. If they would have gone in, if Ohio State would have gone in, we'd have been tied at 7.5 instead of 14-0 at the half. How pivotal did you see that play, and how great of a play was it in your mind?
I love that play, Coach. It was so smooth. I was like, wait, did Julian Sayin mean to throw it to him? Because that was perfectly in stride. It flipped the game on its head. Miami took complete control. If I'm the Hurricanes, I'm absolutely ecstatic for this morning. But if I'm Ohio State, I'm super concerned. If you look back at how Ohio State not only finished that game yesterday, but how they played against Indiana, where is the offense? All year, we talked about the defense of the Ohio State Buckeyes. You still need to put up points to win games, and the Ohio State offense, invisible over the last 2 games.
Now, here's a big number, a big nugget, 0-5. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the teams that have buys in the 12-team playoff format. Last year, they were 0-4. Now they're 0-5. So, Raphael, begs the question, what can we do to give the advantage that dictates to get that bye? Because when you have an extra game like they had a week and a half ago, you're staying in rhythm. When you have a full month off, it's kind of what Dan Lanning is talking about, is that you get out of that rhythm that all season you play with. So 0-5, what does that say to you?
I love what Lanning said, except these teams getting the home team, getting to play at home. I don't like that. I'm here. The Sugar Bowl is here. It's sold out. I love this neutral feel where both teams get to play at. Leave that alone. I say move up. I think the reason why the separation we have is because they want to keep the Army-Navy game, the separate game, the only game on that schedule. I think if they maybe move that to a Friday and then we can have bowl games on that Saturday, then we can fix it. But I just think they need just move the Army-Navy game.
Well, and this is where I would push back on that a little bit, Raphael, is that college is about the fans. Not in NFL teams don't travel, but college fans do. And if they go all the way, you're talking about 4 trips. Or if you're a bye team, you're talking about 3 trips. That's really, really hard to do. That's very, very expensive. To me, 2 trips max. And that's why I would have, and then that would add to the advantage of having a home game in the playoffs on your own field, which they do not get right now. So it's going to be a big discussion, but I think that's where they're going to be headed. But we'll have to wait to see. Now, speaking of the Superdome, speaking of a few blocks away from where you're sitting right now, tonight, this is one that everybody wanted to see. DG, I'm going to start with you. It is a rematch from the regular season, a game that Ole Miss dominated for 3 quarters. They had a big lead going into the 4th, and then Georgia dominated that 4th quarter. So now Ole Miss, they did not have a bye. They went out and scored north of 40 to pound Tulane. So Georgia's laying 6.5. The total, a robust 55.5. Where do you go first on this game?
I look at the spread right away. Georgia is the better team. And I know that you can say, like, hey, we saw last night it was Ohio State the better team, and then Miami came out and whooped that butt. But yes, I think 6.5 for Georgia, who's playing the best football of probably of anybody right now. I like them to cover this spread and put it on Ole Miss early.
Yeah, Mikey, let me come over to you, because the way I'm looking at it, if it's 20 or 30 cents and I want to play Ole Miss, I'm going to buy a full point. In my book, you can buy a half point. You can go up 2.5 or you can go down 2.5. Where would you go in this one?
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach. I would definitely buy a full point. 7.5. I would really feel good with Ole Miss. I love the over in this game because I'm done overstating and overlooking Trinidad Chambliss. Every time I think, he's okay, he always shows up and shows out. And Georgia, they are not the Georgia Bulldog defense that we've come to know in the last 4 or 5 years. So I think we're going to see plenty of points in this. And I like Ole Miss to cover if you buy it up to 7.5.
Yeah, normally we don't talk about props in college, but when you get to the playoffs, certainly most books, Raphael, do offer the props. So you talk about Chambliss, 19 touchdowns, only 3 INTs this year. And now that the Underwood name has been kind of surfacing in the going to the portal, perhaps going to LSU, do you feel like maybe Chambliss is starting to feel like this could be an audition for him to follow his former head coach to Baton Rouge?
Yeah, a lot of his props, people are betting the over, especially I think his passing yards. But this one's kind of interesting. The number 6.5, that one screams yuck to me, unless I can get a 6. But I'm sorry, Mikey. I think this is going to be an under game. This is an SEC battle. I can see one of those 21-20 type of games. I can see under. The bettors like the under. It's in an SEC town of where LSU won their national championship. A lot of Georgia fans are going to probably dominate the Superdome. I can see this going under.
It's because of Georgia. Georgia, when they get into these big games, they have a way of making it 21-20 or 24-17. They are not, even though they have certain games, DG, and I think that's where we get caught up in, it's going to be a shootout. But this Bulldogs team, when they get into these important games, Kirby Smart, he coaches very close to the vest. If it's a 4th and 2 from the 41, he's going to punt it. He's not going to take a long field goal. He's not going to go for it. And I think that leads to the under that Raphael's talking about.
I love the under. You're talking about Kirby Smart-led football team. He does things the old school way, makes you drive the entire length of the field. That just screams under to me at this point. I'm thinking 27-20 Georgia covers, maybe 27-17, just because why not have some fun against Ole Miss?
Well, we did see that late touchdown last night by Miami, by the way. It may not have mattered to anybody else. You know where it did matter? The second half over last night. And I don't even know why he didn't just go down at the 1. They could have had it. But regardless, if you had the second half over last night, then you won that. So, Mikey, let me come over to you. If it's a 10-point game, that's going to be a late cover. Where do you see the point total going? And if you had to have a best bet on this game, what would you do?
For me, it's all about the over. I almost want to throw a showdown challenge to both DG and Raphael, but it's the first of the year, so I'm going to let them slide today. I think this Ole Miss team, we just saw them in a shootout with Georgia not too long ago. I understand the significance of it being a college football playoff game, but name me a team that's slowed down the Rebels with or without Lane Kiffin. I think Ole Miss will put up plenty of points, and Georgia for that matter as well.
So it begs the question, as we look at the story within the story, we know, Raphael, that Lane Kiffin, and he can say whatever he wants to say, he did not show up for College Game Day a couple of weeks ago. So now there's rumors that his people have called ESPN and said, hey, what about Lane Kiffin coming in the press box or coming on the broadcast tonight? That would blow up the entire social media universe. Does ESPN feed into it and allow Lane Kiffin to come right down I-10, get off that exit going into downtown, and show up at the Superdome?
I'm going to say no, but since a guy that loves chaos, I hope they do. This would be fantastic TV. You are correct. Social media will blow up, and I would just want to see what he says on national TV.
DG, what do you think he would say tonight if he's allowed to go on the broadcast?
Oh, he's talking crazy. He slings the petty machete for sure. And honestly, if I'm ESPN, give him the platform, because what that does is that gets more eyeballs. And if you're talking about social media, you're talking about any viewership, that brings everybody right there to watch you for sure.
You know what I would do? I would advertise it again. Because I know what the executives are thinking, Mikey. They're thinking, well, he bailed on us, so let's wait and see, if they're thinking about it at all. But what I would do to force Lane Kiffin's hand, because he does not want to look bad 2 times. So I would say Lane Kiffin, scheduled to be on the broadcast. And I would even say second quarter, third quarter, whenever it is. So now Lane Kiffin has no excuses but to show up.
Coach, this would be 3 times. He was in the booth for LSU and Houston at LSU's bowl game. Just get rid of your ex. Like, Lane Kiffin, let Ole Miss go. You already represented LSU. ESPN should absolutely feed into this, but it's almost like Lane Kiffin's embarrassed. He's kind of sitting there in the corner going, I'm with the new school, but I really love my old school and I want to be a part of it. Like, what are we doing, Lane Kiffin? Get out of the way.
I think the ego is starting to become a thing. Yeah. I really, really do. I think that we're starting to see that if he doesn't have attention on him, that he's not comfortable. Now, he's going to mask it in probably, I need to have attention on my team. I need to make sure that student athletes know that LSU still exists. So this is what I would do anyway. It's not. Raphael, I'll give you the last word because you are in the Big Easy. Is it a feel, like a big game feel, and this just adds a little cherry on the sundae, so to speak?
This game is sold out. Didn't sell out last year, didn't sell out the year before. It is a complete sellout, and they're saying more Ole Miss fans are here to see this game. They thought it was going to be maybe 80-20 Georgia fans to Ole Miss. They're telling me it's going to be maybe 70-30 to 60-40. I'm really shocked at how good Ole Miss traveled to this game.
God, and my heart tells me I want to see Ole Miss win. It really does. But I love Kirby Smart. Every time I got to meet him, what a good dude. He's a classic college football coach. So I'm just hoping for a really, really good game tonight. That's what I really want. All right, still to come on the other side. We're only halfway home here on Coaching Company. Don't forget Coach and Bro at the top of the hour on the Stadium Network as well. We've got 2 more games to talk about. Oregon and Texas Tech, 2 of the top NIL schools in America go toe-to-toe today. And then also Alabama, the team that everybody else said didn't belong. They've already won. They take on the number 1 team, Indiana. This is Coaching Company live on Stadium. All right, we've kind of already hit on it, but I want to get kind of a take from everybody. And DG, I'll start with you because I kind of already made my point on why I think that these games up until the semifinals should be on campus. And to me, it's the cost and it's the fandom. Do you agree with that, or do you think what Raphael said will be kind of more of what they try to do?
I think to the semifinals is exactly right. We're talking about 2 games at different venues, bigger venues, and then the championship game at a different spot as well. But leading up to that, let's give it back to our fans and give them the advantage. I also think Dan Lanning was right of putting it back to back to back. And I get Army and Navy's cool. Put it on Friday night.
Put it on Friday night. That's all you got to do. It really is. Mikey, how do you feel about how the changes that they potentially should make?
Yeah, I really feel like all except for the national championship should be played at home for the higher seed, whoever that may be, as the playoff goes on. Because, Coach, as you mentioned, college football is about the atmosphere. It's about the fan base. You imagine if today's game was in Eugene, Oregon, even though Texas Tech is the higher ranked team, like what that atmosphere would be like for the Red Raiders. I think Eugene, Oregon is one of the greatest places to play college football. So for me, give yourself something to fight for all season long, not just a high seed.
Raphael, I'll give you the final take on this one.
Yeah, it's January 1st. Do I want to watch a game in Eugene? No, I want to watch the Rose Bowl. I want to watch the Orange Bowl. I don't want to see Eugene, Oregon on January 1st. I want to see Pasadena.
Take January 1st out of it.
Well, if that's the case, then yeah. But I'm just saying today, January 1st, would you have the Rose Bowl in Eugene? No, I don't want that.
Definitely people on both sides of the fence. All right, still to come, we have our NBA Showcase coming up in about 15 minutes. We do have games tonight, limited schedule. I think there's 5. But also we have 2 more college football playoff games. And we're going to see just how good Indiana is when now they become the hunted as opposed to the hunters. So we got 2 big games to break it down. We're going to do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year once again. We are back live on the Stadium Network, Prime Video, Direct TV, YouTube TV in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Coach and Company. We're about halfway home. If you're watching us live in the East, it's 10:32. 7:32, you're just stumbling out of bed after a rough night where you got home from the club, maybe even Legends Lounge. Who knows? I wasn't allowed in. I had to go somewhere else. But I still got my ass out of bed this morning, so can you. Now, we've already broken down the late game tonight. Ole Miss and Georgia should be a great way to end your New Year's night. But what about the other games? What about the game that starts in, about an hour and a half from right now, noon Eastern time, 11 Central time? DG, let me come over to you because Oregon and Texas Tech, they are top 11 in scoring offense and scoring defense. Oregon, in their first playoff game, they scored 51. They gave up 34 to James Madison. And Dan Lanning was not happy about it. Do you take anything away from their first game as they get ready to take on the Big 12 champions?
I don't. I like this Oregon team. I think that they're really good and they're very disciplined, but there's nothing sexy about them. And that's why people are kind of leaning on Texas Tech and the points here at +2.5. I still believe in Dan Lanning and a Dan Lanning coach team. And so because of that, I give him the benefit of the doubt here. I wouldn't take the 2.5. I would probably go ahead and pay up the -140 for the money line.
All right, so this game is being played in Miami at the Orange Bowl, Hard Rock Stadium, where the Chiefs beat the 49ers a few years ago. I was in attendance for the Super Bowl, but I digress. Raphael, as we look at the numbers, and you said, do I want to see the Rose Bowl? Do I want to see the Orange Bowl? Or do I want to see on campus in Eugene? Let's say it was on campus. At either one, would this number be different?
If this was in Eugene, Oregon would probably be about 3, maybe a 3.5 point favorite. If DG's buying the juice, wait, Texas Tech money is coming in right now. 2 places just moved it to 1.5. So if you like Oregon, I say wait till closer to kickoff. If you like Texas Tech, grab that plus 2.5. I think Tech money is going to come in all the way to kickoff. Because let's face it, this is Nike money versus NIL money. And that NIL money was spent on defense, not on offense. I think defense is going to be the big key here. I'm leaning towards Texas Tech.
Yeah, a lot of people that don't know the story behind this Texas Tech team and this athletic department, they've got basically one guy. Super, super, super wealthy billionaire guy who basically stepped up, Mikey, and said, you know what? No more. In Lubbock, Texas, I'm going to give you the cash, and you go out and get me the players. And not just on the football field. They did it in softball. They did it in all of their sports, and it has turned them around like that. But now the rubber meets the road. Now Texas Tech, they get that bye. Now they get to face Oregon as an underdog. Make this make sense.
I can't. One of my best bets is Texas Tech plus 2.5. I love them on the money line here, Coach. As much as we look at this number and we look at the history of the Oregon Ducks and their high-powered offense, Texas Tech has one of the best defenses I have seen in college football over the last 5 years. David Bailey, Jacob Rodriguez. I think we're going to see Texas Tech cover at least half of the total here on their own with their offense with a healthy Baron Morton at quarterback. I love the Red Raiders in this one.
And it's so fascinating, too, because of how that first playoff game went. You have people on both sides of the fence, DG. And to me, I look at the Oregon team that gave up the 34 to a James Madison. And if Texas Tech can get me to 24 or 27, I think that would be enough with the way the Red Raiders defense is playing. But this number at 50.5, it's very, very enticing both ways. If you had to on the total, where would you go?
I would go over on this one. And I think they kind of correlate a little bit, in my opinion. I think if you're going to go on the under, I think that would be an Oregon win. On the over, it could be a Texas Tech win because, hey, that they finally put up the points against Oregon because Oregon can't stop them. I really like the Texas Tech team, but I just can't get away from Dan Lanning. I love the coach, and it just brings me in back every time.
I've said this. I don't know how Oregon doesn't get every top player at every position, period. They have the best facilities. They have the most money. All their stuff is high tech. And to me, they have the most likable, competitive coach in college football in Dan Lanning. So, Raphael, let me come over to you. Because when you're top 11 in both, for both teams, to me, it's how the game starts. And we have some people that like first quarter bets. Hello, Mikey. But I think the first quarter is going to dictate how the rest of the game goes. Raphael, do you?
I do. That's why I'm live betting this total. I want to see what the first quarter looks like. I want to see who's got the pace of the game. I want to see both lines of scrimmage, who's going to control the line of scrimmage, because both teams want to establish the run early. And I think that's why I'm going to live bet this total. I like Texas Tech. Here's another one. If you like Texas Tech, that means you like them to win the game. You don't want the plus 2.5. Take the plus money on the money line. If you're betting this Texas Tech team, don't mess with the plus 2.5. Just take the plus 150. There's actually a plus 120 out there right now.
Yeah, normally I would agree with you, but we just had a game where we lost on both sides. We did. And it was 1.5 and money line, and we lost on both. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. You had one of them. It's so hard to do. All right, quickly, give me a score on this one. Mikey, go.
31-24 Texas Tech.
Wow, so you like the over. Raphael, what about you?
27-24 Texas Tech.
Oh, you want a sweaty total over. DG, talk to me.
I'm going to go 30-24 for Oregon.
All right, so it's going to go right down to the final 5 minutes if you decide to play the over, or if you listen to my guys, playing either side. That's the kind of game that we want. Now, the final game, and it's the middle game today, and I believe 4 o'clock Eastern is a start. This is a fascinating one because everybody said at Alabama with 3 losses, DG, that they didn't belong, and then they went out and won their first playoff game. Indiana, Big 12 or Big 10 championship, they don't belong, and they went out and handled Ohio State. They are the number 1 seed. They are now the hunted, no longer the hunters. They are laying a full touchdown to Alabama. Is this too much?
Nah, it's never too much for Kirk Cignetti, coach. We got the best coach in college, other than Dan Lanning, who I love. But I just love this Indiana team. They're getting their best wide receiver team. They're going to continue to dominate the line of scrimmage. That's what they do. It's old school football, and I love it.
Are we seeing, Mikey, the SEC once again gets all the love, and then when they get to the rubber meets the road time, they can't deliver? And this is another example. If you think the SEC is better than the Big Ten, and you're going to get a touchdown, maybe by a half point, lay an extra dime or 15 cents, Alabama looks very, very enticing.
Not to me. DG, you were right the first time. Kurt Cignetti is the best coach in all of college football. And what have we heard him say this year? Can't play scared, coach. So I'm taking Indiana with the 7. I'm taking it with the over. Hell, Indiana might just cover the total by themselves because Kurt Cignetti does not care. And if Alabama has any holes in their defense, he will exploit them.
Oh, my goodness. Put a pin in your take. Oh, you guys get so emotional, you and DG, when you're talking about Mr. Cignetti, Mr. Google me. But I tell you this much. If he wins today and he's going to get all of the college football attention to himself with the other 3 teams that could be moving on, he could become, Raphael, an absolute rock star, bigger than he already is. He's already just signed that 90-some million dollar deal, and he now has a chance to cement his team, his school, as kind of the new program, the new look heading into 2026.
He does, and you said they dominated Ohio State. I think that score was 13-10. We saw what happened last year in the college football playoffs. I'm not saying Indiana's going to lose, but this is a big number. I could see 24-20 type of game where Indiana wins, but Alabama covers, because they didn't impress me that much against Ohio State. 13-10. What are we doing there?
When I say dominate, I meant physically dominate. And DG, they have physically dominated a lot of teams. They just have. I don't mean on the scoreboard, but there was never a time I felt like in that Ohio State game that I felt like the Buckeyes at any point had control. And I think that's what Indiana does really, really well on both sides of the football.
Did we not just watch Alabama play against Georgia like a real grown-up team? That's what's going to happen tonight against Indiana. And, Coach, I'm going to take off one hat and put on my other, because we got Indiana football tonight, Coach. It's time to lay the wood. It's going to be a good game tonight for sure.
Oh, my goodness. Let's hit the total real quickly, Mikey, because it's at 48.5. And Indiana is another team kind of like Texas Tech. They can score. They can play on the offensive side of the football. They have also shown that they can play in these really tough 23-point totals like against Ohio State. Where would you lean as far as points are concerned?
I'm taking the over here, Coach. It's the college football playoff. We've all mentioned it. Kurt Cignetti has a possibility of making a statement to the world and the college football picture about how great he is, and I think he's going to do that. I think Indiana puts their foot on the necks of Alabama.
So how much do you want to, DG, if you are an Indiana team and you are Cignetti? It's about winning, yes, but the whole narrative is changing in college football right now. How much, if let's say they get up by 7 or 10, let's say 17, do they keep that gas pedal down, or is it get in, get out? Because that definitely would affect the total.
No, I think this team is led by their running. And so at this point, this Indiana team, they're putting their foot on the throat. Like they're saying, hey, gas pedal down. We're fully engaged, because they have to continue to keep this momentum. They are another team that honestly, they had the bye week. And so they need to be showing out early in this game. I think if they get up by any big lead at all, you're going to just completely smother this Alabama team. I think Alabama might give up.
What was that?
Alabama's going to give up tonight.
Wow. So, 1 second. Kalen DeBoer is online too. Oh, no. He said give up. No, most definitely. He said give up. Wow, DG. Calling out Alabama. The former Nick Saban-led Alabama. Raphael, I'll give you the final take. What do you make of that?
When you look at this total, you look at who's going to win the game, not who's going to cover the game. If you think Alabama's going to win the game, then it's going to be an under type game. If you think Indiana is going to win this game, they're going to probably put up close to 30 points, and this one goes over. So it all depends on who you think is going to win this game on what the total happens.
Again, I think it's fascinating. I think we have 3 games today that we have no clue what's going to happen. I think we have 3 games today that if you told me any of the 6 teams are going to win, I could make a case for that. And I think that's why we have 3 games today and no other bowl games. No other bowl games, just those 3 today. All right, still to come, we got a little NBA showcase. I think there's 5 games tonight. We've got Sixers, Mavs. We've got the Jazz and the Clippers. And if you're going to stay up late tonight and you want to watch one of the most fun games you will see in a long time, you'll want to tune in to the Jazz and the Clippers. Also, we lock it in if you missed our best bets at the top of the hours. 2 hours of domination. It's Coaching Company live right here on the Stadium Network. All right, gentlemen, last night the Minnesota Timberwolves got bounced by the Atlanta Hawks by 24 points. That's really, really hard to do. DG, you're my NBA guy. Anthony Edwards, the entire starting 5 got pulled, and he just kept walking. Is this going to be a long-term situation in Minnesota?
No, I don't think so. You're talking about Chris Finch, the coach there for the Timberwolves. He's a hot-headed guy, but also Anthony Edwards is as well. And so sometimes you do have those clashing of personalities and those egos. Yes, probably not a professional decision that Anthony Edwards made, but at the end of the day, it's squashed behind closed doors. I don't expect there to be an issue moving forward.
Mikey, this is your guy. This is your all-star. This is your MVP. Not acting like one.
No, Coach, let's not. Let me just come clean here. I was calling Ant because I had him as a best bet -5.5 yesterday. So he went to the locker room to answer my call because he had some explaining to do. Not happy with you, Anthony Edwards. Not happy with you at all.
Wow. Raphael making it about himself. What do you make of that?
If Ant-Man wants to be a face of the league, because we need a new face of the league when LeBron, KD, and all these guys start leaving, he needs to act better. I think he's gonna regret what he did. Ask Scottie Pippen, what's his biggest regret? Not going into the court with Tony Kukoc. I think Ant-Man's gonna feel the same way.
People still talk about that. They still talk about Scottie Pippen, who, by the way, Pippen was on that really popular podcast. Oh my God, you guys, the guy, the black hair, is sometimes political. Did you guys see Scottie Pippen on that show?
No.
Oh my goodness, he was actually very, very good, well spoken, had really good takes on things, very un-Scottie Pippen-esque. If you know, you know. All right, it's time to talk NBA. Also, do not forget, for those of you watching on YouTube, if you want to watch Coach and Bro, you got to switch over to our Behind the Turnbuckle YouTube page for the top of the hour. If you just want to keep it right here, if you're watching on Stadium, you're all good because we're going nowhere. All right, time to talk the association. We are back live on the Stadium Network, not in 10. Not in 8. No. We're back live in just 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So today is all about the college football playoffs until it isn't. We're past Christmas Day, which means the NBA, they start to take center stage, start to position themselves in the race for the playoffs in the top 10 spots now in both conferences. So without further ado, let's launch in to our NBA showcase. All right, DG, I'm going to start with you because you were there the other night. So you have the most recent NBA game, and this one, Heat and the Pistons tonight. Detroit coming off a long road trip. They just blew out the Lakers a couple of nights ago, so they're going to be very, very happy to be back home. So DG laying 4.5 for a Heat team that has kind of been up and down, I would say, the last couple of weeks. How do you see this one?
I normally go ahead and back the Pistons, especially at home, but I really like this Heat team. As you said, they are up and down. You don't know what you're going to get, but I think the Jekyll or the Hyde shows up tonight, the bonus one, the best one. I think the Heat cover this spread of 4.5.
Mikey, let me come over to you. I love this Pistons team. They're the number 1 seed currently. They've lost a few, but they had it was a 6-game road trip, I believe, is how many games they played. You're going to get tired naturally. But against the Lakers, they show that they have 2, 3, 4 young guys that nobody's ever heard of that are really, really good.
Yeah, they do. I'm with you, Coach. I love this Pistons team as well. Let's not kind of get thrown off by the Miami Heat's last game. Jokic goes down. They put up, I believe, over 140 points. So it's easy to look back recently and go, oh, maybe the Heat can stick with them. I like the Pistons to cover, and I like the over in this one. I think Cade Cunningham will lead everyone on the court.
If you just want a fun play, the over would be the fun play here because I think Raphael, if both teams get off to a really, really good start, they'll play with each other. One team is not going to slow this thing down.
Yeah, the over looks good, but if you're a Detroit fan, you're happy Miami comes to town on a 3-game winning streak. Because let's say if they lost all 3 or maybe dropped 2 out of 3, then this number's a solid 6. Now you're getting a better number because of this Heat small winning streak. I love the Pistons in the spot. I think this number goes down to 4.
You do.
Yeah, I think Miami money's coming this morning, and usually if it's coming this morning, it might come in for the rest of the day, so we might see it go to 4.
All right, very good. Keep an eye on that throughout the day. All right, let's flip over to the late game tonight because to me, the Jazz are terrible. They are, but man, are they a ton of fun to watch. And when you look at their last, I'll just rip off their last 4 games. 248, 241, 260, 265, 247, 255, 278. Do you get my point, DG? This 232.5 number is banana land low. Try to say that 3 times. Your take.
I do love this game, especially in the over, so I love your play there. Keontae George for Utah Jazz has been playing incredible lately, but Coach Chris Paul, they sent him out and they got better. Some things might correlate here. They've covered the last 5 games that the Clippers have. I like the 12.5. I know it's a big number, but give me double digits. Give me a 20-point blowout win.
During that winning streak, Mikey, Kawhi Leonard had a double nickel. He had 55. And when he plays well and he's playing a high-level offensive game, that takes the ball out of James Harden's hands and really moves it around a lot. So when you look at their last, they've won 5 games in a row to end the month of December. This is the hottest team in the league right now.
Yeah, and I watched their last game, and it's so fun to see when Kawhi has it going as he did against the Kings. I know you talked about the double nickel game that he had, but James Harden is so much fun to watch as a facilitator. And DG, you're absolutely right. Keontae George, guys, this is an all-star. He's not going to get the respect and credit he deserves. He is one of my favorite player prop guys to watch for in this game, and you could get a little persuaded by Kawhi Leonard's last performances. If you're looking for a player on the Clippers, I go James Harden tonight.
Boy, like James Harden, but I love the George name too. If you guys don't know who this George kid is, he is a guard. He is not scared. He never met a shot that he didn't like, and he can fill it up. All right, speaking of fill it up, we need to have our first winning day of 2026. So it all starts right here and right now. Let's lock it in. All right, 10 seconds or less, just 1 or 2 nuggets is all that I need. DG, start us off.
Tyrese Maxey's playing tonight. We're going to go 76ers first quarter team total over the 29.5 at minus 110. They're top 5 in the league in scoring with 31 points per game. And then the late night. Go ahead and get this. Raphael said it early. Minus 8.5 for UCSD at minus 110. 8-3 against the spread on the season. They're going to make it 9-3.
Mikey P, talk to me.
I love Texas Tech today against Oregon. That defense will show up, so I'm taking them plus 2.5. And the Celtics team total late night tonight against the Sacramento Kings over 118.5.
By the way, the Tech game starts at noon Eastern time, so you pay attention to that in the next 60 minutes or so as you're watching the Coach and Bro show. Raphael, you're up.
The first 9 just posted up on that UC San Diego, so hurry up and grab that. But we're going to the Rose Bowl, and hopefully the rain has stopped when this game kicks off because I like the Alabama team total over 19.5. Yesterday, 4 of the 5 bowl games went over the total. We could see some points in this game. And then give me the Clippers team total over 123.5. Clippers won 5 straight. They averaged 119 points per game in those games. I think they can find 6 more points against the Utah Jazz defense.
Yeah, they went north of 70 against the Kings 2 nights ago in the first half, I might add. My 2 plays, if you're going to cash with the coach, I may go undefeated in 2026 in the NBA. It's possible. It's possible. Sixers, Mavs, over 231.5. Sixers, DG was just there. They had 128 in regulation in Memphis by themselves. They gave up 128 in regulation by themselves. The Mavs are just an over team now. And then the Jazz Clippers. This is a gift. Over 230, an absolute gift, minus 108. Raphael, make me a little bit smarter.
Got a good one. We went to the ice on this one because the Winnipeg Jets have dropped 13 of their last 14 games when playing as an underdog. Easy money tonight.
Easy money across the board, a lot of different places. By the way, Raphael, I just texted with my daughter. She flew home for the first time ever by herself. She's 17. So she's in Southern California right now. And she said it's very, very light rain. They're predicting heavier rain. But remember, this game is about an hour and a half north of where we live in Pasadena. But so far, not a lot of rain. How much do you think, Raphael, that could affect the number either way tonight in that game or today?
I think if it shows rain when they put the TV screen on it, the bettors are going to fly to the window and fly to their phones and bet the under. So I think for me, I still think we see a lot of points in the score in this game.
It always feels like it's a straight under when you see precipitation, DG. Are you the same type of guy?
I am. And you're talking about when rain comes, it's all about the ground game, which eats that clock away. And so, yes, I do like the under. For some reason, it is heavy rain tonight.
Somebody in the chat real quick, Miss Juzerick. Coach, do you like the Rockets in next game over? Anybody like the over? I don't even know what the number is on that, Raphael. Can you tell our good friend in the chat? Rockets, Nets.
Nets. The total's 219.5. It's been dropping, opened up at 221.5. I stayed away in that total. I made the total 220, so my number is pretty much the same.
Yeah, they're not a good dance partner because the Nets stink. They can shoot 25% on any given night. All right, real quick, 10 seconds. Mikey, game that you're most looking forward to in the college football playoff today.
12 o'clock Eastern, Texas Tech, Oregon. Red Raiders announced their arrival to the world.
Raphael.
Man, it's got to be Alabama and Indiana. I'm going to put my candy cane pants on and root for my sister and her husband who both graduated from Bloomington. I think Indiana is the best game.
I don't even need to hear that ever again. DG, please tell me you're not putting your candy cane pants on.
Nope, but I'm going to use my belt just like Michael Irvin did. Belt to ass tonight for Indiana Hoosiers.
My question is, you think he'd been drinking before the game?
No.
My goodness. Gentlemen, Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Producer man, give me that first one shot of 2026. Now time for you to go out into the world, but not move because we have 2 hours of domination here on the Stadium Network. Coming up in just 3 minutes, it's the Coach and Bro Show. All the biggest topics in the world of pro wrestling. In the meantime, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire team, love them. Mikey P, DG, Raphael, and producer man always behind the scenes. I'm simply the coach. We've got another hour coming. This is Coaching Company Live right here on Stadium.